The Murdaughs have a history of trying to cover things up.
You happen to run into any of Mr. Alex medication?
And you think he's taking it again?
I feel like there's so much to talk about pertaining to this show, but probably a good place to start is kind of going all the way back to the beginning. And I feel like that starts with you, Mandy, because this show is, inspired by the work that you did on the podcast, really kind of following this case in real time and breaking a lot of the information. How early did you kind of become involved with the project, and how closely did you end up working with Michael and Erin in really kind of shaping it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess my work on this project began in February 2019 when I first found out about the boat crash, and as a reporter just dug in and couldn't stop. And then everything went obviously haywire in 2021. And at that point, I had years of research and investigative journalism built up about the Murdaugh family that had to make a podcast and put all of that out there. And then a few months after we first launched the podcast, I was connected with Erin Lee Carr. And originally, I was connected with her for a documentary. Like, we were thinking about doing a documentary because, of course, she's the queen of documentaries. And I was so excited because I've been a huge fan of her for the longest time. I've never been more nervous for an interview, I don't think, than when I Zoomed with Erin Lee Carr, because I was like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. And then from there, she kind of started developing the idea of making it a scripted series and working with Michael D. Fuller, who's a South Carolina native and really understood the story and understood the corruption surrounding the story. And both of them, we really connected with them on the fact that they were victim forward and what they wanted to do with the story. And I liked the questions that they asked. And then from there, we just let them make a majority of the creative decisions. And I'm so proud of them. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like this has been sort of a long gestating series, or at least in the works. Was there any new information that ended up coming out while this was taking shape where you kind of had to go back and maybe tweak some things or add things that weren't initially planned for?
That's a good question, and I don't think really. I mean, I think by the time we were officially greenlit and the series was going, which was about a year ago, the most of the facts of the story were already out there. We're still, like, today, one of Alex's accomplices is in state court. There's things like that are still ongoing, but the main events that we focused on in the show happened years ago, so not a lot changed.
Yeah. I mean, Brittany, for you, coming into this, how much awareness did you really have of the case, and did you find yourself kind of looking into it more once you knew you were playing Mandy, who, very doggedly was investigating this kind of in real time?
I mean, luckily for me, I am such a big true crime person. It's my favorite thing to dig into. And a lot of the times I think to myself, wow, I'm listening to a lot of true crime podcasts. I hope this is not a waste of time. And in this instance, for the first time ever, my hours and hours and hours of listening to Mandy's podcast years ago was not for a waste of time. I actually was doing research before I even knew I was doing research. So I was very well aware of the case and of Mandy. And so I was going into my meeting with Erin Lee Carr and Michael D. Fuller with so much excitement and knowledge because I had theories and I had reasons. And so it was really exciting to me to get to learn even more and do even more research once I got the role.
Yeah. I mean, did the two of you connect early on to Mandy, to kind of give her any insight? I feel like I'm putting the two of you on the spot now. Like, how much the two of you kind of circled up and were able to really communicate?
We did that right away.
Immediately. Well, I was a big fan of her and literally squealed when I found out that there was the possibility of Brittany Snow playing me. And then you followed me on Instagram and I was like, oh my God, this is the best day ever. And then I really didn't believe Erin when she said that you were a fan of the podcast. Like, some people say that sometimes, and they're not, and you can tell when you talk to them. But Brittany, so we we chatted on Instagram and met up in Atlanta like a few weeks
Well, actually, I
later.
called you.
Oh yeah, you called
I called
me.
you and we had like an hour conversation. I remember it was Valentine's Day, and
Yeah.
I had a Valentine's Day date, and I was like, I don't want to this stupid date. I need to talk to Mandy Matney. So that's where my priorities were. And we just hit it off right away.
Yeah, but I could tell immediately that like she knew the story. She wasn't one of those that like, oh, I liked your podcast and then like mispronounces things. And you knew like all of the people, all of the players,
Yeah.
everything.
And I
I
had
really,
questions.
yeah, and details. Like you remembered everything. It was super impressive.
I feel like you can see the dedication to that in your performance, Brittany, for sure.
Oh,
I can't let you go though without asking. This is sort of a two-pronged hunting wives question about A, whether you've seen the SNL sketch already. I'm assuming it was probably sent to you countless times over. And if there's anything that you can kind of tease about where season 2 is at in development.
so I got wind of the SNL sketch like an hour before it aired, and so I raced home and watched it live, and that was a crazy moment. And it was so great, and Chloe did me perfectly. We were all very, very excited, and then season 2 we're starting to film in a couple weeks.
Okay. One of the things I did want to ask you too, I have a little more time, is I noticed in watching this, sometimes it feels like you're kind of siloed off from the rest of the cast. And there were times where I was sort of
Yeah.
hoping to see you get a little bit more of a chance to really bounce off some of the central figures, but also, you want to keep this as accurate and true to life as possible. Brittany, did you ever find yourself having moments where you kind of wish to like you would have more of those opportunities to like I don't know, face off with Jason or Patricia or kind of get more of those scenes, or were you kind of content with how the storyline ended up really playing out for through the season?
I mean, I think it was so important for this to be accurate. And I think a lot of times in movies and TV shows, it's good TV and not necessarily accurate for the reporter to have a big scene and, throw elbows with the people. But that's not the power that Mandy had, was like through force. It was through her intellect and it was through her figuring out what really happened. And so I really liked that it was sort of seen like it was behind the scenes, that she was siloed off, but really that's where she did the most work, and that's what you see today and how it's portrayed. So
Yeah.
I appreciated the accuracy of that.
Agreed. It's reflective of reality. And I think we've talked about this a lot of times. Hollywood does not get the journalist storyline correctly. They
Dramatize it.
yeah, they make it like you said, there would be like a scene with me and Alex would just be stupid and unnecessary. And like I was busy exposing him to millions of people. If I was going to yell at him, that wouldn't have helped anything at the
Right.
time.
And a lot of the drama that you went through was seen and a little bit alluded to in the show, is that she was dealing also with the fact of being ostracized by her bosses and people not taking her seriously on this job and where this story was going to lead. And all of those intricacies woven into the story, I think, are just as important.
Yeah.
Because it really showed how much adversity she went through in order to get this story through and over the line.
I think that's a great sentiment to end on. I'm all out of time. Thank you both so much for chatting with me about the show. It's such an intriguing and fascinating kind of deep dive into this case, and we'll hopefully shed a little bit of light on for people that aren't as familiar. But thank you both so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.